what immediately tells you someone is a trashy parent. When I was 15, I babysat for this family down the street. Single dad, 2 kids. The boy was 9, the girl was 7. I'd just started the job that summer. It paid well, and their dad worked nights at the airport, so most of the time the kids were asleep before I even got there. Easy money. The first couple weeks were fine. The kids were quiet, well-behaved, almost too quiet. I thought they were just shy, but then I started noticing little things. The girl would flinch when the garage door opened. The boy never ate unless I told him he could. One night, he asked me if he was allowed to have a second sandwich, even though I hadn't said no to the first. Still, I chalked it up to nerves. Maybe their mom had been strict. Maybe they were still adjusting. Then one Thursday night, the dad came home early. I was sitting at the kitchen table finishing my homework when he walked in with a grocery bag and 2 bottles clinking inside. He was in a good mood, which wasn't normal. Usually, he just grunted and handed me cash. Kids asleep? He asked. Yeah, since 9, I said. He pulled out a 6-pack and slid one across the table toward me. I blinked. I'm good, I said quickly. He laughed. Suit yourself. He took the beer and wandered down the hallway. I heard the girl's door creak open. I stood up, heart pounding. Then it shut again. He walked back into the kitchen a few seconds later, still smiling. I didn't know what it meant, but it made my stomach turn. He dropped a 20 on the counter. Says, that's for tonight, he said. Extra for staying late. It was 10:30. The next time I babysat, the girl barely said a word. The boy kept watching the front door like he was expecting something. I asked if they wanted to play Uno like last time. Neither of them moved. I texted my mom that night and asked her to pick me up early. She didn't ask why. I wasn't planning to go back, but 3 days later, the girl showed up at our door, alone. Her knees were a bit scraped and she was holding a broken shoelace in her hand like it was something important. Is your mom home? She asked softly. I called out and my mom came to the door. She crouched down and asked what happened. The girl said she fell off her bike, but I could see some marks on her arms, ones that didn't look like a fall. I told my mom everything that night, about the beer, about the doors, about how the boy always asked permission just to breathe. My mom made some calls. That same week, CPS visited their house. The girl came to school with her hair brushed for the first time in months. The boy smiled when I passed him in the hallway. A real smile. I didn't go back to babysit, but I started seeing them more often. At the park with a caseworker, in line at the grocery store with a foster mom. Then, about 2 months later, I saw their dad at the gas station. He looked straight at me while I was pumping gas. Didn't blink, just stared. Later that night, my mom found a note under our doormat. It said, "People like you make things worse." She called the police. We installed a camera on our porch. Nothing happened after that. The kids didn't come back to the neighborhood. I heard they got placed with a family in another town. I never saw them again.